Hey guys, good morning. Today we are starting new book, 1THESSALONIANS. Introduction of this book. First of all, we have to see the background of the Thessalonian letters. It is helpful to trace the locations of Paul and his companions that relate to the Thessalonian correspondence. The travels were as follows. We have 8 points we will discuss. The first point, Paul and Silas fled from Thessalonica to Berea, since Timothy is not mentioned. It is possible that he stayed in Thessalonica or went back to Philippi and then rejoined Paul and Silas in Berea. When you look at Acts chapter 17 verse 14. Second one is Paul fled to Athens from Berean persecution, leaving Silas and Timothy in Berea. And third point, Paul sent word back instructing Silas and Timothy to come to him in Athens. And fourth point is Timothy rejoined Paul at Athens and was sent back to Thessalonica. Since Silas is not mentioned, it has been conjectured that he went back to Philippi when Timothy went to Thessalonica. Fifth point, Paul moved on to Corinth. Sixth point, Silas and Timothy came to Paul in Corinth. Seventh point, Paul wrote 1 Thessalonians and sent it to the church. And eighth point, about 6 months later, approximately AD 51 or 52, he sent it to 2 Thessalonians in response to further information about the church there. Author, date and place of writing now we are discussing. Both external and internal evidence support that the view that Paul wrote 1 Thessalonians. Early church writers are agreed on the matter, with the testimonies beginning as early as AD 140. Paul's known characteristics are apparent in the letter, compared with historical allusions in the book fit Paul's life as recounted in Acts and in his own letters, compared with Acts chapter 17 verse 5. In the face of such evidence, few have ever rejected authorship by Paul. It is generally dated AD 51. Weighty support for this date was found in an inscription discovered at Delphi, Greece. That dates Galileo's proconsulship to AD 51 or 52 and thus places Paul at Corinth at the same time. Except for the possibility of an early date for Galatians, 1 Thessalonians is Paul's earliest canonical letter. Thessalonica, the city and the church. We are going to discuss about Thessalonica. Thessalonica was a bustling seaport city at the head of the Thermaic Gulf. It was an important communication and trade center located at the junction of the Great Anctanian Way and the road leading north to the Danube. It was the largest city in Macedonia and was also the capital of its province. The background of the Thessalonian church is found in Acts chapter 17 verse 1 to 9, since Paul began his ministry there in the Jewish synagogue. It is reasonable to assume that the new church included some Jews. However, when you look at chapter 1 to verse 9 to 10, seems to indicate that the church was largely Gentile in membership. Purpose: Paul had left Thessalonica abruptly after a rather brief stay. Recent converts from paganism were thus left with little external support in the midst of persecution. Paul's purpose in writing this letter was to encourage the new converts in their trials to give instruction concerning godly living, and to give assurance concerning the future of believers who die before Christ returns. Theme: although the thrust of the letter is varied, see purpose, the subject is doctrine of lost things, seems to be predominant in both Thessalonian letters. Every chapter of 1 Thessalonians end with a reference to the second coming of Christ, with chapter 4 giving its major consideration. Thus the second coming seems to permeate the letter and may be viewed in some sense as its theme. The two letters are often designated as the doctrine of lost things letters of Paul. Outlines: total we have 5 chapters. First chapter we can see the thanksgiving for the Thessalonians and the grounds for the thanksgiving, the genuineness of the grounds. Second chapter, and from chapter 2nd and 3rd, the defense of the apostolic actions and absence. Under that, the defense of the apostolic actions, the defense of the apostolic absence, and the prayer. 4th and 5th chapters, the exhortations to the Thessalonians. Under that we can discuss primarily concerning personal life, concerning the coming of Christ, primarily concerning the church life, and 5th chapter, the final chapter, the concluding prayer and greetings and benediction. So these 5 chapters are very important, and in coming days we are going to discuss chapter by chapter in our Bible study. God bless you. Thanks.